ready for ideology, you artistic pieces of shit. Ideology, yo, light your blunts and pack your bowls. Ideology, bro, burn that shit like acetone. Ideology, yo, introducing Salty Paul. Ideology, bro, you can lick it salty. You better open up the door, bitch, it's gorilla. Got your pussy asses screaming like no vanilla. If you're new up in this bitch, then you might be lost. You might just get the shit cannon like Kawaii Cost. Sorry. So give me the lighter, light the cigarette fire. This is the shit we admire. Get the business down to the wire. You must be tripping, this ain't easy work. We burning Bibles and Qurans like we TJ Kirk. Damn. Because Paul is on a mission, obliterating the tism of this generation of offended bitches and syllogisms, tripping acid, having mystical visions, and staying in the mid, growing older and older while you be shitting. Got your girlie getting wetter, why you still screaming, DP better? I don't really give a shit if you a fantasy, get banned when you mention the manatee, and can it be a little bit of vanity? Got me questioning my sanity, pessimistic philosophy, honestly, I want my ideology. Yo, light your blunts and pack your bowls. Ideology, bro, burn that shit like acetone. Ideology, yo, introducing Salty Paul. Ideology, bro, you can lick it salty balls.
Hello, everybody.
Alright, so let's say, what's this other
Whoa.
one? Backwards Hadouken. Oh, that's a forward Hadouken.
That's enough.
So that's a forward Hadouken, and B, that's the gut slice. Let's check it out.
I don't think we need Salty Paul right now. We've done that before. We've been down that salty road before. Hello.
No vanilla. Just hold it there. Vanilla.
How's it going? Good evening, everybody. I was 50-50 on this, on doing one of these tonight, because I did one earlier today, but we just got done filming tonight's episode. It drew a content ID flag for literally the last clip we played in the last moments of the episode. So that is something that's being dealt with right now as it stands. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it's being worked on, so no worries, but... So I was like 50-50. I was like, I really don't know that I want to do this again today, but I kind of do. I like it. I feel like the need to keep myself from being totally disengaged recently, and I've been trying to reach out and do that in various ways, and this is one of them. Because Paul left his own devices right now without the help of some friends, and the guys I work with, also some friends, and the job that I have, and the little side things that I can do to keep my mind going. You know, I'd probably just be curled up in a ball under a blanket right now, living the edge life, you know, living the totally edgy, I don't want to see the light type of life. So thank you for taking part in something that helps to keep me a safe and sane individual. You're feeling like a solitary vibe too, Mendacious C? Yeah, I've been really fighting it, man. I've been trying to keep myself in the company of others. And I've been very lucky to have people that are cool to chill with. But yeah, dude, left to my own devices. If I was a younger person and didn't know myself well enough, I would be completely and totally off. Like, nobody would be seeing me. I was actually recently left to my own devices. Family took a vacay. I stayed at the fort. Really eye-opening experience. Oh, yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Move to a city where you don't know anyone. Aw, dude, Mendacious C, you're such a chill fuck, though. You're gonna find some friends. I know you will. Look how quickly, you know, you found friends here. Everybody loves Mendacious C. Everybody's favorite fucking non-specter is always Mendacious C. And really, the only reason Mendacious C is not a specter is because I don't want to put that mantle of responsibility on the dude. He's too chill. I feel like it would fuck with Mendacious C's chill if one night he was the only specter in here and I'm like, ban this guy, ban, you know what I mean? I don't want to put that on him, you know what I mean? Was there supposed to be a show tonight? I'm so confused. So here's what happened. And then shut up about it. Quit bitching. There was roofing work being done at the studio today, so we had to push back our filming because if we didn't, then and filmed at the normal time that you guys are kind of accustomed to getting these shows, there would have been hammers and nails and footsteps and bullshit and jackhammers and loud ass compressors and all the bullshit that comes with roofing. So we had to wait for those dudes to finish up. They finished up at like 6 o'clock. So we got together at 6. We met for about an hour, filmed some content that needed filming, some like patron announcements and side stuff, and then filmed the show. I just got home. I literally got home like 20 minutes ago. And the show was just uploaded, and it drew a copyright strike for the last video that we played in the show. Literally the last moments of the show drew a copyright flag, and it got blocked in all countries or whatever the fuck. So that's going to have to be edited. So that's why there's no show up. There you go. You will know what video it is when the show goes up. It, you know, for some of you, it's probably already tomorrow, and you're already pissed off. But so sorry about that. But it'll be up as soon as possible. Yeah. Thanks. Just got here and had no clue. Just became a patron, and the content is praying hands, praying hands, praying hands. Cool. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's fine. I'm a night owl anyway. Cool. Well, you'll be getting it a little later than you're used to getting it, but you'll be getting it. Trust in me. Have a little faith in me. Shit happens, dude. It's just part of, like, it sucks for you guys. Oh, I just had a little lag spike. Let me say that again. I'm having a laggy night, too, tonight, which is great. It's always wonderful. Let me see if I can I'll angle that a little better. No, it really, like what I was saying when I got the lag, oh, fuck, here's another lag spike. Great. This is a great night. It's going to be a choppy-ass, laggy-ass, bullshitty night. Might have to do like a phone stream or something if this shit keeps up. Anyway, it sucks for you guys. It sucks for the fans when shit is late. One of the things that we really worked hard to fix when we moved from the last show that we were on to this one was that on DP, there was kind of a freneticness to the schedule. You never really, and I've heard this from a lot of people that were fans of that show and remained fans of that show. And during the time that I was on it, it was kind of up in the air when you were going to get episodes and if you were going to get episodes. And if we decided we were going to move episodes, we were pretty bad about communicating that to people. And we've really worked hard to, you know, try and mitigate that to the best of our ability with this show. I think we've done a good job. But tonight, one of those times where it was kind of unavoidable, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why my fucking internet is so shit right now. Oh, yeah, I do, actually. Louisiana is the answer. Let me see. Let me see if I can lower my bit rate. That might help. Output. Streaming bit rate. Let's lower that a little bit because we don't need a super high bit rate now, do we? Let's feather the bit rate. See if we can stop strangling the encoder. Lowering the bits. I just did it, and I don't think it actually did anything. It might be something that I have to like restart the stream to do, which quite frankly, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be frank with you all. I'm not going to do that. That doesn't seem like it would be a smart idea. But whatever. Maybe it'll suss itself out. Maybe it won't. Oh, hello. Dude, Ashley was here at the beginning of the day. She hadn't been in bed yet. She probably just woke up. Am I guessing right? Did you just wake from your slumbers? Ashley is now a full-blown vampire. Oh, you be doing dishes at work? Damn. Dude, I guessed wrong. Holy fuck. What's the issue again? It was lagging a little bit earlier. I could see it. I've dropped a bunch of frames, so, but it might have sussed itself out. Oh, you got called in. Gotcha. It's Polly Paul. YouTube being the only real option for this sort of entertainment is the best argument against monopolies. I agree. Pick up your frames, Paul. Yes, okay. My bad. Sorry, guys. I dropped some frames. Whoopsie daisy. So, yeah, that's where I've been tonight. Just got home. Just did some filming. Sorry it's dark, but I don't want to turn on my stupid fucking lights in here. I'm already nursing a migraine, okay? I already should probably not be here looking at computer monitors and shit. Yes, there will be a new DFF. Man, god damn it. One of the things I hate about this show is that people pop into them and like want updates on shit, and I feel bad not giving them, but I'm not going to give them anymore. Yes, I'm just going to say yes, there will be. You should get some sleep, Paul. I'm actually not all that tired. I got plenty of sleep last night. I went to bed at midnight last night, and I woke up at about 8:30 this morning. So fuck you. I'm not. It's 10:30 at night, dude. I'm fine. Any fond memories you could share of Ultima Online? No, not right now. I don't want to talk about Ultima Online tonight. Sorry to shut you down so heavily, but it's just not a topic I want to dive face first into. Let's be honest, most people don't give a fuck about an old video game that nobody plays anymore. So every once in a while I like to delve into that little world and talk a little bit about some crazy video games I used to play and shit. But to be honest with you, to be frank with you, I'm not super interested. When you're depressed, do you sleep more or less? It depends. For me, depression and anxiety go hand in hand. So I will, if I'm very anxious along with my depression, I will be a total insomniac. I'll sleep 2 hours a night for weeks on end, if that. Really fitful sleep, really hard time actually achieving sleep. I can go, a couple of weeks at a time like that. And then there are times when it's mostly just depression. And if I'm in a position where I can, it doesn't necessarily mean that I will, but if I'm in a position where I can just stay in bed, I will. And that's just as bad as it gets for me. That's really what I'm fighting against right now. My anxiety level is not super high right now, but my depression is really a struggle. Like, I really want to make like a pillow fort in my bedroom and just disappear for like a couple of days and not talk to anybody and not have any outside stimulus. You need 8 to 9 hours to not want to die minimum. Well, sorry. Like, that's just not true for me. I'm not trying to, say it's a good thing or whatever, but I've always been pretty good at functioning on very little sleep. Now, I can't do it multiple days in a row. The more days in a row I go without proper sleep, the less capable I become of being useful to anybody or anything. So I want to talk to people when I'm depressed. I usually am depressed because I'm not around other people. I mean, that's very true for me, too. I can still be depressed and be around other people. Like, I talked to a friend for a long time today on the phone, and I was depressed for a lot of it. And I don't know if that person knew that, but it was really helpful to have... the word I'm going to use right now is probably not the best word. Accountability. The accountability of having another person that's like involved in what's going on in your immediate day during a conversation. You know what I mean? Accountability is the wrong word, because it's very likely that this friend wasn't even aware that I was depressed. But to have another person there who, you wanted to have an engaging conversation with, helped to keep me from just, once again, having another day where, all right, yeah, I'm not going to skip the show. I mean, the show is really, if you want to talk about the thing that has probably, there are two things that have helped me more than anything in my life when it comes to fighting mental illness, the illnesses that I struggle with. Number one, in my mind, is Dynor. You might think I'm fucking crazy, but I don't know if you guys can tell when he makes his little appearances on the show and when he's around when I'm doing the show. He and I are super close. And if there was ever a dog that should be classified as an emotional support animal, Dynor is it. But there's also a level of accountability with Dynor as well. Because I can't just shut down and decide, like, okay, today I'm going to just be in bed. I'm not going to get out of bed. I'm going to lay in bed naked, and I'm not going to take any phone calls. I'm not going to turn on any lights, because he's there. He needs to go downstairs to poop. He needs to be fed. He needs to me to make sure that he's got water. He needs to be interacted with. Sorry, I just saw another fucking lag spike. God damn it. Internet, please. Internet, please. Okay. I think it's calmed down. So Dynor I lean very heavily on him for emotional support, and I always have. He and I have been buddies since way back. I do a lot of talking to Dynor. Like, he and I have whole conversations and shit. It's pretty crazy. But, oh, you hear me saying your name, buddy boy? You hear me say your name? You want to say hi to the people since I'm talking about you? You want to say hi to people? Come on. You do want to say hi. You do. You want to say hi to people? Say hi. Hi, I'm Dynor. Go on. Go on. Go on about your business. Go play. So Dynor, number one. Number two, my job. When it comes to, like, once again, that accountability word, right? I feel so, like, other jobs, I'm not going to lie to you. I was never a dude to call in sick all the time. I always felt a real sense of obligation to the jobs that I worked, but I did call in sick to my jobs. Sometimes you have to. This job, I would have to be in the fucking hospital. Like, if I'm puking, I'm going to do the show. Get me a bucket. That's just my mentality with this show. I don't know how much of this is fucking happening because my fucking connection's having another seizure. It's probably because it's late at night and everybody in my fucking complex is using the wireless at the same time and all that bullshit. Anyway, as long as it seems, I'm going to stop looking at it then, because if it seems fine on you guys' end, I guess it's fine. Whatever. But yeah, anyway, the show is like the other piece of bedrock in my life. You know what I mean? It keeps me accountable. I'm gonna do the show unless I am physically detained somewhere and can't leave, or in the hospital, or some shit like a hurricane happens. You know what I mean? It's going to take something like that to keep me away from this show. If I've got, like, we already filmed the show for tonight. It's late because there was shit. There was roofing, you know, but I feel a real sense of obligation to the people that watch the show. Even the people that don't like it all that much, and they're just there to poop, I'm fine with that. I'm really fine with that. Oh man, I need to stop looking at this fucking internet thing. I don't think it's accurately reflecting the fucking what's going on. So you know what, dude? I can figure this out. I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look at the goddamn stream. Okay. Here's the stream. Let me play it. Here's the stream. Let me play it. Blah, 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 blah. And now it's not going to do it. See, I want it to have one of these seizures so I can see if it lags up on my end when it happens. I want it to have one of these seizures so I can see if it lags up on my end. Okay. That's enough of that. It's fine. Thanks, guys. Sorry. I'm just not going to pay attention to it anymore. So yeah, anyway, to bring it back home, when I was talking about accountability earlier, it's that kind of accountability. So I was having a long conversation with a good friend, and that kept me accountable today in some way, shape, or form. And then my job kept me accountable today. So there you go. Dude, the internet is not happy with me tonight. Frozen skipped you explaining it there, if there will be a show tonight. Shut up, Condo Paul. You're an idiot. I promise I won't do it, but I might kill myself if you miss a show. Damn. What's the biggest thing you think is preventing you from being depressed right now? Nothing. I am depressed right now. Like, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I'm happy-go-lucky, super fine right now. No, dude, I'm depressed. I'm depressed as shit. I have been for a few days, honestly. I said less depressed. Oh, well, I don't know that I'm any less depressed than I should be. See, I don't know what the metric is here. What am I measuring against? Less depressed than I am at my worst? I mean, less depressed than I was yesterday? What are we doing here? It's a tough question to answer. You're being glib, Matt. You're being glib. How do you fight that depression? Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I let it win because it's easier than fighting it. You talk about your depression in a much more sincere way than the guy DFF covered on the last Patron episode. Well, I'm just being honest about it. Like, I don't really know how to explain some aspects of it, but those that I do, I'm happy to share with people if they show an interest, you know. Part of how I've dealt with my mental problems is to talk to people about them, to be honest about what they are. It helps when I tell friends, you know, like if I have friends, those that I've shared, you know, hey, I have depression, and if I disappear, you know, it doesn't mean I hate you. It just means I'm struggling, and if you're persistent enough, I'll likely answer you. And I've lost friends because I didn't have that talk. So I spent 2.5 years in extensive time a week talk therapy in my early not my early 30s, I guess my mid 30s to right around the time that I left California to go to Texas and started on the Drunken Peasants. Drink water, you silly old fat guy. I'm drinking water right now. Kind of personal question, but when was the first time you attempted suicide? Okay. So I'll tell you the story. I don't remember a whole lot of the story because for some of it I was blackout drunk. So I will tell you what I do remember. I was a teenager. The chick that I thought I was in love with in high school had rebuffed some advance of mine or had told me she didn't like me, or I can't remember exactly what it was. You'd think you would, but that's not the detail I remember. I remember being very, very sad, and it really wasn't her, if I'm honest, looking back on it. It wasn't what she had done. I don't know what it was. Asked some other dude to a dance or told me that she didn't want to date me anymore, whatever it was. But my depression was out of fucking control when I was a teenager. Like, what I'm describing to you guys now is me at the ass end of a lot of therapy, okay? So the way I exist now and the things I struggle with now, imagine those things but rampaging out of control with teenage hormones and shit. So I got my hands on a bottle of vodka. There was always booze around at my parents' house, and it wasn't hard to get my hands on it. But at this point, I did not take it from my parents' house. I actually went and purchased some vodka. There was a really shady liquor store in Madera that was known, especially late at night, to sell to pretty much anybody who walked in there, and we took advantage of it frequently. I was able to get a big plastic jug of Popov vodka, which I don't know if you've ever had plastic jug Popov, but it's pretty fucking gross. And I started drinking it, and I just started driving. And at first, I honestly did not know where I was going. I was heading in the general direction of the house I grew up in. And I started heading out that way. And I remember drinking as I went and getting pretty drunk as I went. And I got to my old house, and I kind of drove by it pretty drunk. And I continued driving, and continuing in the direction, towards my old house was the Sierra Nevada mountains. And I ended up on the road to a place that I'd been to a bunch of times before. It's a place called Bass Lake in California. Really big. Well, it used to be big. I don't know if it is anymore. It used to be a really, really big lake, stocked with bass, fish, a lot of fishermen, a lot of families, picnics and stuff. It's a pretty place. Nice big lake. And I continued drinking. It's about an hour drive from where I lived, so I had an hour to just, slug this vodka back. Continued drinking. It was really late at night, in an area of the world where there's not going to be a lot of people driving around at 3 or 3:30 in the morning. And I reached this overlook point that was on the way up to Bass Lake. And I remembered it in my drunken stupor because my family had gone there one year for 4th of July, and it was beautiful. It overlooks part of the lake. It they do a big fireworks show there every year. And for some reason, my brain locked in on that memory as being really happy. But it also locked in on the idea that I was going there because it's a sheer drop. Anybody that drives their car off of this overlook, because it literally is on the edge of a cliff overlooking the lake way down below. So my intention was to go to the edge of that overlook and to sit there for a while, drink my vodka, and hit the gas and just do it. Anybody that goes over that edge in a car is dead, unless they've maybe there's some new fucking car that can handle that shit. I didn't own one of those. I was in a 1982 Ford Tempo. So there was no, you know what I mean? So anyway, I got up there. I did exactly as I said I was going to do. I slugged back a bunch of the vodka. I sat up there. I did the edgy teen routine and thought about my life. And I don't really remember much after what happened. I kind of at some point there hit that blackout drunk phase. And I woke up very early in the next morning with a fucking rampaging headache the front end of my car was mashed against the guardrail that was not really a guardrail for cars. It was more to keep people from toppling over the edge of this overlook. And the front end of my car was dented and fucked up. The guardrail was dented and fucked up. But car was drivable. I was still fucking completely wasted, completely drunk. But I woke up and literally the first thing I saw was just the complete expanse of that lake. And I couldn't see the ground in front of my car because there literally was none. The front end of my car, the bumper had gone kind of over at one point, the guardrail that was there. So the front end of my car was just, all I could see was that lake and the morning sun coming up and shit. And I just, like, instinct kicked in, and I immediately backed up, drove home, drunk as a fucking skunk. And nobody knew about that until I told my parents. It was years fucking later until I told either of my parents that had happened. I didn't tell anybody that I did that. I don't know that qualifies as a genuine suicide attempt in some people's mind, but for me, the intent was there, and clearly at some point I tried, at the very least, to hit that gas and go over that edge. So I'm very glad I didn't make it. My mom cried her eyes out. And my dad, I don't even know if I told my dad, to be honest with you. I told my mom and my stepdad. Yep. So scamming the Grim Reaper. Yeah, I've scammed the Grim Reaper a few times in my life, man. You guys know my carjacking story. And I think that's another time that I credibly scammed the Grim Reaper. I've had some brushes with death, man. Not a bunch. I'm not some soldier or something that faced that every second of their life for a whole fucking 3 tours of duty and, Fallujah or some shit. But, I've had more brushes with death than your average dude my age, probably. I would say credibly 3 times I've been very, very close to death. Probably 4, quite honestly. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, it's more like 6. Okay, let me go through the times that I've almost died, and I might not be remembering them all right now, so I may have to do some addendums, but I'll try and do them in order. The first time I almost died was in 1986. My parents were involved in a car accident. Myself and my little sister were in the back seat of my dad's Pontiac Firebird. We were on our way from Madera, California to Great America where's Great America? Great America's not in San Diego. It's like in the Bay Area. And we were on our way to Great America for a day at, it's a theme park, roller coasters and shit. We were on the back roads. My dad was kind of a lead foot. He liked sports cars, the Pontiac Firebird. Not the most badass car, but it got up and went. It was pretty fast. I was 6 years old. My little sister was 3. She was in a car seat still. So I might be wrong about the ages then. Because 3, are you still in a car seat at 3? Any parents or people that have young siblings or whatever the fuck, can you fill me in on that? I just want to make sure that I've got the ages right and shit. Yes, some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. Yeah. Okay, so that would have been it then. So my dad was going too fast. He was doing about 80 miles an hour. He came up over this blind hill. It's a very hilly road that we were taking. And he came up over this blind hill. It was a kind of a highway in California. I wish I could remember the the highway that it was. I bet I could, if I went to Google Maps, I could find the highway that this happened on. So maybe I'll do that as I go here. But my dad came up over this blind hill doing 80 miles an hour, and right at the top of this blind hill, just in the blind spot of it, there was an Army tanker, like one of those giant Army trucks that pull Army ordnance and shit. And this dude had missed an exit and had decided that he was going to block both lanes of oncoming traffic to flip a U, cross the soft median, and somehow pull on to the traffic in the 2 lanes heading the opposite direction. He was blocking 3 lanes of traffic at the time that my dad slammed into the back tire of this giant Army tanker. My dad, the skid marks in the accident that I'm describing to you were only a couple of feet long. My dad literally had about a second, maybe a second and a half to react to the Army tanker. And like I said, he was doing somewhere between 75 and 80 miles an hour. Neither of my parents were wearing seatbelts. I and my sister were belted in the back. This was actually before it was legally required for anybody to wear, well, for an adult to wear a seatbelt in a car. There were obviously laws in place for children. But adults, it was actually very common for people at the time that this accident happened. Once again, I said this happened around 1986. For people to not wear seatbelts. And my parents were 2 of those people. They were not wearing seatbelts when this accident happened. The car was absolutely decimated. Everybody in the car was knocked unconscious by the blow. I'll tell you that much to start off. I was the first person to regain consciousness in the car. I was 6 years old in the back seat. The seatbelt had literally saved my life. I was sore as shit. I had whiplash. I had a cut on my head from my head actually rubbing up against the seatbelt at some point. It was a laceration from the coarse seatbelt material that was across my chest. But otherwise, I was completely unhurt. Okay? My little sister had, as we were driving, had her arm tucked underneath her child seat. So as we were playing around or whatever, driving along, she had just kind of, when she was messing around, she had tucked her little arm underneath, like her little hand was underneath the child seat. And she had broken her arm in 3 places. Her arm was literally crumpled up and in front of her in a way that it shouldn't have been. And that was one of the first things that I remember seeing. This car crash is one of my clearest, earliest memories. It's one of the first memories that I have absolute access to. I remember it like it was yesterday. It's burned into my mind. She did not lose her arm. Her arm was able to be put back together. She was otherwise unhurt. My mom was nowhere to be seen. Literally could not see her. And my dad was slumped over in his seat. I unbuckled myself, and I immediately kind of tried to look over my dad's seat because I was behind him. My sister was behind my mom. I look over my dad's seat, and the first thing I remember seeing was that the steering wheel looked like Superman had bent it. That's the best way I can say it. It looked like Superman had taken and put his hands at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel and had bent it inward. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys? This was not a car that had airbags or any kind of modern safety feature. This was a 1980s car. Okay? The second thing I remember is my dad waking up. And he woke up, and he immediately looked in the back, and he saw me. And he saw my sister, who had started to wake up and was crying, obviously, in a lot of pain. That all happened very rapidly. And I remember my dad saying, PJ, get your mom and sister out of the car. Are you okay? Get your mom and sister out of the car. And I said, yeah, I'm okay. I said, okay, and I got out of the car. Now, the back door wouldn't open immediately. I remember having to struggle with it because the car was literally fucking like accordioned in the front. I don't know if I took a picture of it, but if I did, I will get it to you. Hold on, let me check something, you guys, because this will be worth it. I can't remember if I fucking... Let me look at my pictures. I took a bunch of pictures at my mom's house, and I swear to God there was a picture of this fucking car, and I will show it to you guys if I can find it. Just give me a sec. This will be worth it if I can find it. All photos. Let me go back and look at all my fucking pictures that I pulled. Because if I got this picture, it is legitimately worth posting and showing to you guys. So let me check it out. Man, I wish I would have fucking taken the picture of it. I got pictures of the Jeep. Oh, there it is. I got one. Okay. How do I get this out of here? I could post it. I have a picture of the fucking car, dude, with my mom standing next to it. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to post this on fucking Instagram, yo. Just give me a sec. This will be worth it for the fucking for the shit, for just for you guys to get an idea how fucking serious this car accident was. Let me go here. Oh, sorry, I'm not real good at fucking Instagram, so you'll have to forgive me. It's gonna take me a second to find this shit, but when I get it, I'll get it. Here they are. Here's all this shit. There's the Jeep. There are probably better pictures of this that my mom has, but the one that I found is absolutely perfect. So let me see, where the fuck is it? It's not necessarily going to be... There it is. Boom. Okay, next. Let's see. Okay. Boom. Okay. Share. And that's posting, and that's posted. Okay, let me go to my Instagram. I'll pull it up for you guys here. Okay, here you go. This is my mom standing next to the car. You can see that, like I said, the entire front section of this car is completely accordioned. The whole frame was completely bent. The entire engine was pushed into the cabin, which we'll talk about in a second. So anyway, my dad, let's talk a little bit about my dad's injuries, because I went around, I got out of the car, I saw that people were stopping and getting out of their cars to run over to where we were. There was already a man there who stopped me from trying to get my sister out of the car and went and helped and did that. So while that was going on, let's talk a little bit about my dad's injuries. So his hands, he had broken every bone in both of his hands. Every major bone in both of his hands was completely shattered. Completely and utterly broken. He had broken both of his wrists. He had broken both of his knees and both of his feet. He had broken I think it was 4 or 5 ribs so poorly that he had so badly that he had internal injuries. He had punctured, vital organs and nicked arteries, so he was bleeding internally. That was the extent of his injuries. A lot of the worst injuries that he had were sustained because of his chest impacting that. So what happened was he braced himself against the impact with his arms, locked his elbows, broke every bone in his hands as he bent that thing back as the crash happened, and then smashed his chest against the steering wheel and broke a bunch of ribs. And also locked up his knees and legs, once again trying to brace himself against the gas, against the crash, and trying to hammer the brake as hard as he could, and had done those damages to his legs and feet and knees. So as I was getting out of the car, I heard somebody say, "Oh my God," and my dad was getting out of that fucking car. He managed somehow, you can see how that door is open there, that my mom's standing next to. He managed somehow to shoulder that door open with all of those injuries and tried to stand up to come and help look for my mom and get all the kids safe. When he tried to stand up on 2 broken knees and 2 broken feet, he immediately collapsed in the street in a puddle of gasoline and battery acid that was pouring out of the front of the car. He sustained second-degree chemical burns over about 20% of his body. His butt, his legs, a huge patch of his back, just from the fact that nobody wanted to move him until the ambulances got there because they were afraid his back was broken. And they didn't know what he was laying in was burning him. And he was in so much pain that he didn't know that he was being burned. In the meantime, bystanders had, the owner of the army truck had used his CB radio on the emergency channel to make sure that people were coming. A bunch of other people had stopped on both lanes of the freeway. And people had helped get my little sister away and clear of the car. They got me clear of the car, but I was inconsolable because my dad had told me to get my mom out of the car, and I kept screaming at these people, "Get my mom out of the car. My mom's in the car. I have to get my mom." And they said, "Your mom's not in the car. She's not in the car." They kept telling me she's not in the car, and I said, "That's not right. She was in the car. I have to get her out of the car. She's still in the car. She's not out here. We got to get her out of the car." Well, when the emergency people finally showed up, and the first thing on the scene was cops, and they had limited ability to do medical shit, but they started trying to attend to my dad, and I think it was a police officer that communicated with him and had him do something, and I think it was maybe the cop that he told that he was burning, and the cop dragged him out of the acid. He would have had way worse burns. The next thing on the scene was a fire truck, and I remember hearing them talking, and there was a couple of them searching the hard shoulder. There was a hard shoulder on this road, and they had climbed up to the top of it and were looking in the field beyond. And I heard them saying, I bet if you looked, you would be, in fact, I know for a fact, if you looked, there would be a news story about this. This wreck that I'm describing to you guys was actually cited in the court case that was one that allowed California to pass the first mandatory seatbelt law in the state. It wasn't the only crash cited, but it was cited in court. So it was listed in court as one of the accidents that made this such an important thing. So if you go looking, you'll find it. And I'm going to go to Google Maps here in a little bit and try and find you some more information about it and shit. Anyway, they thought my mom had been thrown free. But as you can see, the front of this windshield, the windshield shattered on my dad's side, but it was intact on my mother's side. You can see that a lot of the damage was sustained where my dad hit, and they were very confused by this. Well, it didn't take them long. Oh, shit. Wow. Nice fucking long lag spike there. That had to be for everybody. It's okay. We can walk it back for a second. It looks like it's stabilized now. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Internet, for being so fucking stupid. So, anyway. Where was I? So, they found my mom eventually. She was still in the car. The impact had literally thrown her body into the space that your feet usually occupy in a car like this. And then the dash had crumpled over her to such an extent that they had to use the jaws of life to pull her out. They had to cut a hole in the dash and front end assembly parts of this car to pull my mother out of it, because she had, by the impact, been crammed into that little space, and then it crumpled over her. In flying underneath the seat, she ripped her eyelid, and I'm sorry if this is gross to people, but I just want to be detailed about how fucking lucky my entire family is to be alive. She ripped her eyelid back up over her skull so badly that they thought she'd cracked her head open at first. Something underneath the dash had caught. Her arm, as you can see, which is still in a cast here. Now, this is many months after the accident. It was many months before either of my parents could walk. And she was knocked completely out, yes. So the fact that she's even still standing attests to the fact that this is at least 4 or 5 months after the accident. And she's still in a cast. My mother's arm was broken so badly. And the reason, now look at her arm. You see it's her left arm broken. My mom's right-handed. So the reason her arm is broken is because her instinct, as she saw what was going to happen in that second or two that there was to react to this, was to throw her arm back to try and protect the kids. And when she did that, it literally fucked her arm up so bad that bones were poking out of it. It was shattered. Her whole arm had to be put together with pins and plates. They were able to reconstruct it. She didn't lose the arm. They thought she was going to. It was mangled. She broke her legs, not as badly as my dad did, but she had a really bad knee injury, broke both of her legs. I think one was just a compound fracture. And that was it. That was the extent of it. Both of my parents were choppered to St. Agnes Medical Center in Fresno, and immediately taken to the ICU. Both of them did not have good prognoses. They were literally on death's door. They managed to, both of them, not only survive, but both walk again, both go back to work at the same jobs that they had before, and both go on to lead productive lives after this. And both of their children survived it as well. Fucking amazing, right? And that's my first brush with death. Can we get the real story now, pimp? Okay. The receipts that I provided are not enough. So let me go up the timeline here. My next run-in with death would have been the suicide attempt that I described earlier. For those of you that weren't here, you'll have to go back to hear that. I consider that to be a brush with death. That would have probably been, well, hold on, let me double check this. Let me make sure here. I have a lot of car accidents in my past. So, okay. So yeah, that involves a car too, I guess. So, but yes, that would be the second one. The third one would be the carjacking. That happened when I was about 16, going on 17. I might have just turned. No, I was 16. So that happened around. That was not long after the suicide attempt. It was probably the same year. That's an incontrovertible brush with death. The next one would be a car accident that I got in. It was a long time before I started going out, especially at night. But when I did, my friends had taken me out, and I was in the car with 4 friends. The girl driving would eventually become my girlfriend, somebody that I was with for a long time. But at that time, we were just buddies. She was driving us around. We were all stoned, all fucked up. And you want to know what the stupidest fucking part of this brush with death is? I want you guys to take a guess who wasn't wearing their seatbelt in the car. I'll wait. I'll pull the chat. After going through the fucking shit that I just described to you guys when I was 6 years old, my stupid fucking ass was not wearing my seatbelt. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. In this case, it might have been a good thing. The chick that was driving blew a red light, one of those big raised farmer-style trucks. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know what it was. It was like a Dodge or a GMC, but you know what I'm talking about. The ones with the big-ass tires. You got to step up on the fucking, foot guard to get into it. Just one of those big-ass extension of your penis trucks was blowing through the intersection, T-boned us. Hit right where I was sitting. Right where I was sitting. Literally threw me across the car into the lap of my friend Kevin, who was sitting in the other passenger seat, the one behind the driver. Threw me into his lap, busted my fucking head against the glass of that window, broke a tooth, was knocked completely unconscious. I was very lucky to not be injured beyond that, but the seat where I was completely gone. Completely fucking, like it had crumpled inward to the point where if I had been strapped in to that seat, I probably would have been crushed. Or at least really fucking mangled by this crash. So, the next one was another car crash. The only car crash that I've ever been in where I was the driver. I was stopped at a red light. It was a two-way stop that there was a freeway, and you had to stop, to cross it. There was a stop sign to cross it on both sides. And this is Highway 145 in Madera. It's Highway 145 and Avenue 12. It was a notorious killer of people because the Central Valley of California is known for fog. Now, it wasn't a foggy day when this car accident happened, but just this, if you grew up in Madera or in Fresno and spent any time in Madera, you probably know this intersection. Or you probably know somebody that's died at it. We're on 4. This is number 4. So anyway, I was stopped at one of those stop signs, and I was on my way to see my girlfriend. I was after work. It was kind of the dusk of the evening, you know what I mean? It was a summer, so it must have been, 8 o'clock or something like that. 7:30. And a car that was trying to cross the freeway from the opposite direction. So if I'm sure you can picture it. I hope if that's confusing, let me know in the chat. So I'm stopped at the stop sign waiting for my turn to go across when there's a time and there's another car on the other side. Well, Actually, that car wasn't stopped. So I was stopped there waiting for my turn to go. A car pulled up to that intersection and just literally blew the stop sign and got T-boned in the intersection. The whole wreck got pushed into me. I was the first in line to wait. So we're talking a perpendicular. So that whole wreck got pushed into me. My little car was absolutely mashed. It actually got pushed over on its side. I was buckled in. I had to fucking wait for a bystander to come and check on me. And I told him, yeah, nothing's broken. I'm just hanging here. And they were able to put my car back up on its wheel because it didn't go completely on its side. It kind of got pushed into a ditch by the road and rolled up on its side. And they were able to push it back and get me out. I was completely uninjured, but could have very easily died in that car accident. The person who was sitting in the position that I was in the previous car accident that I told you about, excuse me, that person died. So the person that blew the stop sign had a passenger in the back seat, and where they got T-boned, that individual died in that car accident. The next one was my second suicide attempt. That happened in my early 20s. It was once again over a woman. Well, kind of. I had developed a drug problem after a relationship. In fact, the relationship with the girl that was driving the car in the one where I got T-boned and I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. She and I ended up in a very long relationship together. Well, long for me anyway. It was, 5-6 years. That ended, and I kind of spiraled out of control. I'd always been kind of a recreational drug user, and I always liked opiates, pills. And it was very prevalent in my area. Vicodin, Percocet were the most popular, things that you could get your hands on easily at the time. And it was also very easy at the time to get a prescription for those. So I started abusing those. And one night I just really fucking had hit a low point. Like I said, I was abusing drugs. I was drinking on top of those pills, smoking weed on top of that. I was spinning 3 different ways pretty much every night alone in a place where, it was just like a place that used to be, mine and hers. So it was very hard. It was just very tough. And it was my first real relationship, real adult relationship. And it just ended pretty tragically. It was pretty awkward. And I had started abusing. I had kind of just decided that I didn't care if I died, and that I was going to facilitate that by eating a bunch of pills, drinking a bunch of booze, and I did just that. I didn't take a massive amount of pills, but I took a dose that probably would have killed some people. I have a pretty prodigious tolerance for both alcohol and the drugs that I take. That is another lucky stroke for me because, as I said, I took enough pills that it might have killed somebody else. For me, I was very lucky. It just knocked me out for a very long time. And I woke up with a shit fucking hangover that I never want to feel again in my life. I literally couldn't get water down all day. I just puked up water. And I was very fortunate to have on that day that I woke up from this, I was very fortunate to have a family member show up just out of the blue. It was one of my sisters, my biological sister. And I don't know why she showed up that day, but I think she saved my life because I don't know that I wouldn't have done that again the next day. So it was a very fortunate event in my life and a very close brush with death. The last one was when my gallbladder almost exploded. I did not know it at the time. This was in my very early 30s. I did not know it at the time, but I had gallstones, and one of them got so big that it had blocked the bile duct or whatever it is, the gall duct and my gallbladder was completely and utterly blocked. I started getting pains about a week into it as it slowly but surely filled up and stretched beyond capacity. And then one night it just went completely fucking off the rails. I felt like it was the worst physical pain I've ever been in. And I've been in a lot, I've had a lot of accidents. I've broken bones. I've been beat up. I've had my ass whooped. You know what I mean? Like I've had some painful shit. But I've never experienced any pain like this. And I sat with it all fucking night. It felt like there was a spear going through me. Like literally I could feel the pain on the left side of my body, right in my, right above where my belly button would be, offset to the right, just kind of your side right there. And it was like there was literally a spear all the way through me. I could feel it in my back, in the front, all the way through. And I sat there and thought like, okay, well, whatever this is will go away. It'll go away. My fiance at the time was upstairs asleep. And I sat there with it all night. Finally, at like 7 in the morning, I went and woke her up. She was about to get up anyway. And I said, I got to go to the fucking hospital. She's like, what? I said, you got to take me now. I think I'm fucking dying. Like, I'm going to die. She's like, oh, my God. She thought I was having a heart attack or some shit. And I'm trying to explain to her, like, this is not my heart. My heart's on the other side of my body. This is something else. But she's like, you're fucking having a heart attack. So she takes me to the fucking emergency room. They immediately see how I look because I was like pale, sweaty, just like had no, like I'm already a pale fuck, but I was just had no color. And they immediately took me back. Immediately gave me this giant shot of morphine, which by the way was the best high that I've ever had in my entire life. That shot of morphine, not only did it take away my pain, but it made me not care about fucking anything for about 3.5 hours. I was high as I've ever been in my entire life on any fucking drug. And I never wanted to do a drug more, like one more time than that morphine shit. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I found out that my gallbladder was just about to explode, which would have caused me to go septic or bleed out internally very, very quickly. It was about to burst. I had to go immediately and get surgery and have my gallbladder taken out. So there you go. That's it. That's 6. You're really bad at dying. Yep. Was that 6? Was somebody keeping count? Was that 6 or 5? How much did it cost in hospital bills? I was very fortunate that this happened at a time that I worked for the state government. I was, well, not directly for the state government, but I worked as a government employee. I was working at the school district in Madeira, and those are covered by state employee benefits. So 6. So it's 7. This is the this is the final one. I just, I think this is a brush with death. This is actually a really formative moment in my life. I think I might have talked to you guys about it, so I won't go too crazy with it. But I had a time where I was under a lot of stress. I was drinking a lot of caffeine, and I was about 60 pounds heavier than you guys see me today, in very bad shape. And I started having really high blood pressure. They put me on a blood pressure medicine that lowered my blood pressure too quickly. And I stood up, walked into my kitchen to get something to drink, and about halfway there realized that I was literally gonna die. Like my vision started to cave in, and I made some noise like, and I just dropped like a sack of potatoes. Now, the reason that this was such a formative thing in my life was I feel like it was like a preview of death. So a preview of because I literally, there was one moment of like, oh my God, I want to preserve this life. And then there was this long, what felt like to me, a long moment of acceptance and then nothing. Like, it was just like, oh, okay. Well, this isn't as bad as I thought it was. It was almost that kind of sentiment, but I didn't think that. I didn't think anything. It was just like a fucking calm that came over me, and then it was over. I was gone. I was down. I was out. And I was out for about a minute. My ex-wife had heard me hit the ground and was trying to wake me up. I woke up with her shaking me, and with her phone in the other hand, she was about to call 911. I told her, no. That was the first thing I said when I woke up. I was like, no. I'm okay, because I was fine. So better than the morphine shot, definitely more potent. So I don't know if that one counts in you guys' mind, but if it does, there's a 7th. Somebody mentioned the pilonidal cystectomy, and I was told that I was I was in great danger with that. The dude that did that surgery on me was a dude that's kind of specialized in it. I was very lucky to have that happen to me where it did. He had done hundreds of them, and he told me it was the worst he'd ever seen. He said he was shocked that I hadn't gone septic. There was so much dead tissue, it was horrible. So that's probably another one. So that's 8. The house fire. Oh, fuck. I didn't even think about that, but that's perfect for the timeline. So for those of you that don't know, last year, TJ, Chelsea, Ashley, and I all lived in the same house, and we did a 24-hour show for DFF, and literally that night, the house almost burned down. Well, it wasn't that night. It was that day. We did it noon to noon. So we started at noon one day. We ended at noon. Everybody in the house went to bed. We were all dead to the world. And the front of the house lit up. It was literally on fire right underneath the porch, which was the second floor where me and Ashley's bedroom was. Literally burning right where our bed was. If that had happened an hour later or a neighbor hadn't seen it and called it in, I would be dead. That's 9. That's 9 fucking lives. So if I'm a cat, I don't get another one. Yeah, Ashley was the only one that was awake, and she was on the other end of the fucking upstairs. She was nowhere near the fire. At least it happened after the 24-hour show. I guess so. What a way to go. Burned to death right after doing the 24-hour show. I'd be fine with that. Yeah, I think my next brush with death is going to be the one that takes me out, guys. I don't think you get more than 9 lives, right? Even cats only get 9 lives. But anyway, that's that. Kind of a morbid topic, but an interesting one. You guys got to hear some stories you hadn't heard before. And I'm glad that I was smart enough to take a picture of this car, even though I fucking hate looking at it. Sometimes dead is better. Sometimes dead is better. So yeah, dude, I've been through some shit, man. I seen some shit. I've been through some shit. I am sort of writing a biographical or autobiographical work right now. It's not necessarily going to include any of the topics that we just talked about. But I'm writing a book called Beware the Giant Worm. And I'm 3 chapters deep. Chapter 3 is skeletal. Chapters 1 and 2, 1 is completely done. 2 probably needs a little cleanup. 3 is very skeletal. It's going to be about a 10-chapter book when I'm done with it, as I conceive of it right now. That might change. Not a super long book, but definitely a densely packed book. And I might do an audiobook release with it too, for sure. It'd be kind of cool. What's the giant worm? Is it a metaphor? I wish I could show you guys, but I just don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it. It's such... I found a picture when I was at my mom's house. I know I've had this title for the book for a long time. In fact, I've been thinking about this book for quite some time, a couple of years at least. I started on it in earnest about a year ago. And this is something I'm doing in my free time. So it's not something I'm like... You know what I mean? I'm very, I'm I changed. Anyway. So I'm going at my own pace with this, but anyway. But I found a picture at my mom's house that is perfect. It is so perfect. I'm not going to show it to you guys because I want it to be the cover of this book. I've told the story before, but it's a picture of me. I'm about 7 years old. It's at my mom's 30th birthday party. My uncle Jimmy is doing a striptease for my mom. He had dressed up like a preacher, and he gave a eulogy for her. It was an over-the-hill party because she was turning 30. He gave a eulogy for her, and then he ripped off his priest's habit, and he had a banana hammock on. And on the banana hammock, there was a little cartoon worm waving his hand, and it said, "Beware the giant worm." I was 7, and that was my first introduction to the concept of stripping. So the book is about sex in its many and varied forms and how I've interacted with sex throughout my life and all the fucking stupid foibles and crazy bullshit that I've seen and done that it has anything even remotely to do with sex. And it's going to be separated, chapter by chapter, kind of subtopically, about 10 topics. So that's the book. Why did your uncle strip for your mom? Or he wasn't my real uncle, number one. He was a family friend. Number two, it was all in good fun. He wasn't trying to get my mom wet. It was a joke. Everybody was hooting and hollering and laughing, but I was 7 years old, and I've never forgotten the beware the giant worm. It's burned up right up here. I think you told the story before, Paul. When are you going to be releasing your grand political movie trilogy, Jeb, Jeb, and Jeb? Oh, man, I don't know. That's a pet project, Maybe if I become a famous movie guy someday, I'll make that happen. But yeah, the Jeb trilogy. Please clap. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have to do that. I can just...
Please clap.
There you go.
One of
Please
the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of...
Shut up, Trump. Shut up, Trump. All right, you guys hold on for 1 second. Give me a sec. I'll be right back. Don't be douchebags. I got to pee. Don't be a douchebag. I got to pee. He's extra fat tonight, dude. The comment of the night. In fact, Matthew Krecklau, you know what? It's been a while since I did this, and we need a little new blood, I think. Let me give me a sec. I'm gonna find this. You're gonna be our newest Spectre for that shitty comment that you made while I was taking a leak that you thought I was gonna have no way to respond to. Well, I choose to respond by empowering you. Welcome to the Spectres, my friend. Serve long, serve well, do what thou wilt. Let that be the whole of the law. You're not ready to become a wrench. If you were ready to become a wrench, Charlie, you would know that the first way that you get a wrench is to never ask for the wrench. Flattery will get you nowhere. Flattering me is not how you get a wrench, my friend. What a specter. What a player. What a game. How long have I been doing this? An hour and 20? I got a little more time. I got a little more juice in me. Man, this is a pretty dark camera shot right here, isn't it, fellas? Let's see what I can do. Does that make it better? A little bit. Slightly. Yeah. You just got off work? Cool. What up, Dick Johnson? Vote for me, Dick Johnson. The name you know. The name you trust. Dick Johnson. Paul, I'm smoking a hemp J right now. Does that count? Or is... What? Shut up. Oh, get out of here. Boom, you're banned. 1-800-ANIME-ROCKS. You're banned forever. I've got my fucking finger on the trigger right now, dude. I don't even need my specters sometimes. You know what I mean? I empower them so that most of the time I don't have to engage in this, but I got to be honest. I love punting people just as much as all my specters love doing it. Worst ever date experience? My first date with my ex-wife was pretty epically bad. I borrowed a Honda Del Sol from my friend Waylon because I thought my car was lame. And I picked her up in the Honda Del Sol, and she laughed her ass off when I picked her up because I was so huge in this tiny little car. Failure number one. Failure number two, I told her, I'll take you anywhere you want to go to eat. Whatever your favorite shit is. And she said, I really like sushi. So we went to a sushi place. I fucking hate sushi. And so she was picking all this shit for me to eat. And I'm just sitting there going like, am I going to be able to like sit and pretend I like this? And the answer was no. I almost threw up 3 or 4 times. Then we went to see a movie called A Mighty Wind, which was made by the same people that made Best in Show and the same dudes that did Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap. It's a mockumentary. We were both kind of into that. We shared movie tastes. In fact, we kind of hit it off as friends by talking about movies. So I thought that's a surefire win. So at some point during the movie, I'm thinking like, all right, well, the sushi didn't go well. The Del Sol didn't go well. But she seems to be into me still. She was laughing a little bit at dinner, and I tried to make it funny and charming that I hate sushi. And I finally admitted it to her, and I think that won me some points too. So I'm going into the movie, you know, thinking, hey, I was able to make a joke out of it. I was able to turn it around and make it something, you know, whatever. No. I reach over and I'm like, I'm going to go for the old hand maneuver. I'm going to put my hand next to hers and kind of touch her hand with my hand. You know what I mean? And maybe like put a finger just to see if she lets me hold her hand. Because I'm feeling the vibe, you know? There was chemistry despite all this awkward. She, as soon as I start touching her hand, immediately stands up, doesn't say a word to me, and leaves. Like, I don't know where she went. She just stands and goes. She's gone for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. She comes back. We awkwardly finish the movie. At the end of the movie, we talk very, very briefly about the movie. We both kind of liked it, but then she goes, yeah, I just think I'd like to go home. And I was like, okay. So I took her home, and I went home and thought, she is never going to speak to me again. And wow, what a fucking horrifying date that was. She called me the next day, gave me the whole story. She had really bad anxiety. She had a panic attack. She didn't want to tell me that she had panic attacks. She didn't think I would like her. She really liked me. She liked that I was trying to hold her hand, but she had to go leave. She went to the bathroom. She tried to calm down. She couldn't. She went outside for a little bit, calmed down, came back, and was really embarrassed and just wanted to go home. And we ended up being together for 12 years after that. So it ended up being okay, but I'm telling you, I never felt worse after a date than that one. She might have left a couple of times during the movie, honestly. It might have been a couple of times that she stood up and left the film, now that I think about it. You're right about that. I know I've told this story before. It's been a long time, so... But, yeah. There was another funny story about her, too, that I always remember. I always think it's funny from the early on in our relationship. So, at the time, I was in my early 20s. She was 2 or 3 years younger than me, so she was in her really early 20s. In fact, when we first started dating, she was 19. I was like 23. She still lived with her mom because she was still in college. And her mom went out of town a lot, which was cool for us because it was, you know, a free house for us to be in. I lived in a condo at the time, so it wasn't like I didn't have anywhere to take her, but the house was nicer. It had a pool, you know what I mean? It's a cool place. And I remember I was over there. This was early on when we first started dating. And I was over there at her mom's house, and we're chilling out on the back porch. It's like a balmy kind of spring night. We're chilling out back there. And she starts asking me the 20 questions. When you start dating somebody, there's always like, how many people you been with? What's this? What's that? Do you do drugs? You know, all that shit that you don't really know about a person. So she gets to the like, do you do any drugs? And I was like, okay. Now at this time, I'm like, I am now. Was it like a daily smoker, right? In fact, I got to be honest with you, I was smoking more than I was now. I'm not a daily smoker anymore. You know, I go like 2 or 3 days a week. I don't smoke at all now. But at that time, 7 days a week. But I'm sitting there thinking, like, I can't tell her that. I can't tell her that shit. So what I told her was, like, twice a week, and she looked fucking shocked. She was like, whoa, you smoke that much? I was like, ooh, damn, I misread this situation. Ooh. I had to go through some life changes to be in that relationship. Had to go through some life changes to make that relationship work. That's why, you know, that's one of the things about a relationship that at that time, I'm in my early 20s, I didn't know. I didn't know that those types of things you should address immediately, and if they don't work out, you should be done. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be trying to mold yourself into somebody else to be with somebody else. Like, you should be able to walk confidently into a relationship as yourself. I'm not saying you don't make concessions. I'm just saying you don't, you know, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to walk into a fucking relationship where I'm told what to do or how to be or whatever the fuck, you know. Hardest habit I ever had to break? Smoking, probably. That's just a killer. I mean, I still... Some would argue I have not yet to kick it because it's really the nicotine that you're addicted to, and I still use it. But the physical addiction and the just addiction to the taste and smell and texture and act of smoking a cigarette, that was one of the hardest fucking things. Who pwned me? Who pwned me? How was I pwned? Who has delivered the pwnage upon me? Why is there such a stigma around cussing? I don't think there really is, honestly. Not anymore. I feel like when I was a kid, there was a stigma around cussing, but now, dude, I don't know. I don't run into a whole lot of language cops where I'm at, so. 22 and never smoked. What would happen if I started now? You would get addicted, and you would wish that you'd never started, and you'd spend a bunch of money and time and effort and mental anguish quitting it. Ask me to watch my language, even jokingly, one more time, Russian Blue, and you're done. I will kick you. I will ban you. I will destroy everything that you have. I will take that which can never be given back. Your life, Senor. Your life. Su vivo. Su cuerpo. I will take it all, Senor. There will be nothing left of you when I am done. I will cut you from stem to stern, and I will let the vultures eat your guts, your stinking, pestering guts. Do not test me. Do not test me, Senor. The last man who is unfortunately stupid enough to test me, Senor. Well, you may see his bleached bones if ever you walk 100 miles into the Gallbladder desert. Oh, I'm evil. You think I'm evil? Maybe I am. I don't think of myself that way. I think I'm a man who gets the job done. You know? I think I'm a man who takes care of the business, you know? You talking to any women, Paul? Only your mama. Are the comments dead, or is it my phone? I think it's your phone. Damn. Well, holy shit. What's going on? What are we going to talk about? Somebody better throw me a topic. Throw me something. Throw me a bone here, because it's starting to be like poop and stupid questions and stupid bullshit. I mean, it's usually mostly that, but it's nothing but that right now. It's nothing but. Like, who has a fucking good question for me?
Nobody.
Oh, thanks, Charlie. I think that might be right. Holy shit, look at these questions. Some of these are so bad. What video game are you looking forward to? Holy shit, I hate that question. I don't even want to talk about it. How many accents can you do? I don't know. I don't do any of them really all that well. Has YouTube saved your life? Oh, shit. It's like a lightning round. Paul, what is humanity's expiration date? If I knew that, I'd be rich as fuck. Why TJ no do live stream no more? Ask TJ. I'm going to ban you, Condo Paul. I hate being asked questions like I fucking am going to like pick up the phone and be like, hey, TJ, diddly fiddly, stupid Condo Paul from the chat wants to know. I know you'll be back, you dipshit. I just want to take a fraction more of your life away from you. What's some life advice you wish you had gotten when you were younger? Honestly, I wish somebody had told me not to take everything so fucking seriously. I'm being dead honest about that. I wish that I had had somebody in my life that was like, look, dude, there's a lot of heavy shit in life. And the people that are trying to prepare you for that and tell you how hard things are and shit, they're doing the right by you because they're trying to prepare you for the truth. But don't take it so fucking seriously, man. Like, honestly, you don't have to take everything so fucking seriously. I wish there was just somebody that was able to impress that upon me at a young age. It would have been nice advice. Can somebody ban Mecklenburg, please? He just keeps asking stupid and American Skeptic. Just ban them both. Nuke them up. See you both on your next alts. Fucking idiots. I don't really get what you mean, like taking what seriously? What do you mean? Taking life seriously, taking all the bullshit seriously, taking failure as seriously, taking the potential of failure as seriously, taking stupid early, fucking high school relationships seriously, taking yourself too seriously, taking your parents too serious, like everything, literally. I wish there was somebody around that was preaching that mantra to me. Does that clear it up a little? Should we work to improve the culture that we have now, or should we work to bring it down faster? Why is it a binary choice? Why not a third way? My way, which is to do neither. I don't do anything directly. Now, I might do some things that are damaging to the environment, but nothing I do I do in the name of or to try and further the degradation of this planet. I might be a wasteful fuck, but I'm not doing it out of some kind of spite or contempt for the planet. I don't try and help things along. I also don't try and hinder it. I'm not the type of guy that's going to sort his garbage meticulously and shit. So I take the kind of middle ground, I guess, between those two positions, although I don't really see it as a middle ground. I think it would be misrepresented if all you said about it was it's a middle position, because I think it's actually a separate position. I take the pessimistic position of being an observer and a commentator. It's a very kind of George Carlin type of position that I used to be really at odds with, that I'm no longer at odds with in my life. In fact, it's a very informative position for me. It's tinged with a very deep streak of pessimism and, more than a sprinkle and a dash of nihilism. But the idea that there is this binary choice where either you are for or against the current culture continuing or burning, I don't buy it. Oh, okay, so you don't do anything to help society, and then you sulk and whine about things not getting better. Yeah. Dude, if I sulk and whine, what are you doing here fucking suckling on my titty for? In fact, haven't I unbanned your dumb ass already? What are you doing here? I'm pretty sure I remember your name. I'm pretty sure you're a person that reached out to me at some point that was banned, but maybe you're not. But it begs the question. I leave it to you. Don't ban this guy, by the way. If all I do is sulk and whine about things not getting better, but I do nothing for society, what the fuck are you doing here swinging from my ball bag for? I'll wait. Isn't there somebody that keeps your intellectual rigors that you could be watching? This chat is on the spectrum tonight. You have no fucking clue, dude. This chat is in full-blown DEFCON T, dude. The tism has been unleashed. Night crew sucks. No, that's not true. Sometimes it can be true, but it's not true. It's not uniformly true, you know what I mean? Always happens when the streams are this long. That is true. The longer a stream runs, the more, like trolly, like really, I hesitate to call them trolls, like low effort fucking attention seeking that you get. That's really what it is. Like, I don't want to besmirch the idea of trolls anymore. I don't want to be responsible for that. Like, these people, like a lot of these dudes that get banned out of here, they don't rise to the level of troll. I wouldn't give them that badge. Some of them are. Like, sometimes a troll will get banned. But most of these people, they just want attention. Like, that's one component of trolling, but it's not the only. Trolling, as I've told you guys before a bunch of times, it's an art form, man. It's not something to be taken lightly. It's not something that's easy. It's not something that just any Joe fucking schmo autizimo with a cell phone and an internet connection and infinite time to make alts can do. And most of the shit, like like most of the good trolling gets rewarded in here. It's the low effort shit that gets banned and banned and banned and banned and banned and banned. Mods, if any of you wants to play whack-a-mole, just put Schwerin on the fucking perma-banned list. Like, I was cool to let him chill, but make him make a bunch of fucking accounts. He's another one that's got nothing to do all day but seek attention. So give him what he wants. Take some of his life from him. Just keep Mecklenburg the fuck up out of here. They can't be too low effort if they keep making new accounts, right, Paul? That takes no effort. When's the last time you made an account at something that took more than like 3 seconds to do it? Like, be honest. How hard is it to make a fucking account? That's the definition of low effort. Okay, good. I'm glad you're kidding. Dude, it's hard to fucking, text is hard. It's hard to read the intent. But whatever. What the fuck? What do you like on your tombstone? I like pepperoni and olives. The password requirements can be pretty hard on my small brain sometimes. Ooh, yeah. Select every picture that has a street light in it. That's tough, man. Those captchas always get me. 200 people and no one knows what to talk about. It looks like a lot of you kind of have an idea what you want to talk about, but nobody has anything good to talk about, including me. Like, you go back to the beginning of this, I was very honest with you guys that I did not want to do this tonight. Well, 50% of me did not. I flipped the coin. I landed on ideology.
Please clap.
Have you talked to anyone about a possible ideology intro vid? Nope, I have not. If something like, look, this has always been like a crowd-funded thing. Shout outs to Otello, by the way, who I'm glad is still here, who did our new ideology background. Well, he did the new glasses that I've got. He did away with the aviators. He made this nice new ideology thing, but it's always been like a crowd thing here. All the shit I use, on this channel is shit that other people have made. I wish I knew his name, but there's an artist that did this blobfish guy you're looking at. There's an artist that did the really cool drawn picture of me over here. I should really be better about shouting out artists that help out here, because it would probably encourage more people to do cool stuff in their off time. If you make it and it's cool, I'll use it for the show. I'll find a way to weave it in. Somebody wants to make me an overlay, I'll use it. I'm fine with it staying the way it is, but I honestly don't give a shit. But if somebody makes something cool, I'll use it. Intro vids, or like I said, I don't give a shit. The new Lion King movie had an anti-nihilist and God-loving message. Cool. Another fucking reason not to go see it. Paul, what did you sell your Tempo to? Is it still chugging along somewhere? No. The frame on it got bent when the dudes that carjacked me tried to run from the police and drove it off of an overpass. It was actually drivable after that, and I did drive it for a little while, but the frame was bent. It had a lot of problems after that, and we ended up just kind of junking it, scrapping it or whatever the fuck. There was a car dealership in town that, you know, would say, hey, you got a car that, you know, isn't even sellable. Well, we'll haul it off and sell it for scrap and take a couple $100 off the price of your car. So I took the old girl in, traded it in for one of the shittiest cars I'd ever had. I traded it in for something I thought was like a real cool upgrade. It was a 1990 Dodge Daytona. It was a V6. It had a ton of miles on it. The transmission was shit. The air conditioning didn't work, but it was red, and it went kind of fast. I bet driving that thing after the carjacking sucked. It didn't really bother me all that much. I didn't drive for a long time, though. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a long time before I could get behind the wheel of a car. It was about 2 months, maybe even more, before I started driving myself to school and around town and just doing anything. And then I didn't drive at night for a long time. In fact, I avoided going out at night for a long time. I had really, really like pronounced PTSD, and I still do. I still suffer from some of it. It's gotten better over time, but that's at the ass end of a lot of therapy. Do you ever think there will be an anti-authoritarian voice in culture again, like Marilyn Manson or Gigi? Yep. Those anti-authoritarian voices came after a rise in that type of thing after, you know, the 60s collapsed into the 70s and the 80s, and everything started to become slick and corporatist and Christian and homogenized, and there were very few artists or, you know, thinkers really challenging the people. Then you started getting people like G.G. Allen and Bill Hicks and George Carlin and just this huge fucking giant roster of people that started to become ascendant in the 80s and the 90s. Huge counterculture voices and this huge shift in the musical landscape and the huge shift in the tone and experimental nature of the movies. It was all in reaction to an age where Puritanism had its day. And we're living in that age now. Both sides of the political aisle are pushing Puritanism now. It might be a different flavor, but it's all the same. It's all Puritanism. And you know, all these countercultural voices that you guys are mentioning, they rose in opposition to that. And there are already some of those people out there right now. You may not like them. They may not resonate with you, but maybe it's just not your time to embrace that particular figure. Kanye West is one of those kind of iconoclastic people. Now, you may not like the dude, but he is kind of a soldier in the counterculture wars. He's one of the people that will be talked about in the future as one of those dudes. And you'll start seeing more of these crop up here and there. Rap is getting oversaturated and overexposed. I don't think so, dude. I got to be honest with you. I'm on the other end of that spectrum from you. I think that rap is ascendant right now, and we're going to see some crazy shit for about 5 or 6 years. Look, in the 90s, rock and roll pretty much dominated the entire 90s. Now, there was a nice hip-hop curve in the 90s, too, but when we're talking about popular music, it was all hard and alternative rock for like 10 fucking years. You think that rap is just gonna fucking shrink away? Nah, dude. Post-rap isn't gonna be weird because that's rock and roll is gonna fucking pop back up. Oh, you're talking about post-rap as a genre? Rock is dead. I mean, it's rock is a phoenix, so it will rise from the ashes. It will once again be the dominant genre. But right now, rock is like the most limp-wristed, shitty. I mean, there's some rock acts that are really good. Church of the, what is it? The Church of the Skull. I always have such a fucking Church of the Cosmic Skull. There it is. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, which I'm actually going to see in September with Scotty and Taylor. If you look hard enough, there's some good rock acts out there. Even some stuff that's kind of alternative rock, which is my particular spice. But most rock is just listless shit that's either trying really hard to sound like some bygone era of rock or just failing at being rock, in my opinion. It's just not a good time to be a rock person. But luckily for me, I have an appreciation for rap and hip-hop, and I'm an open-minded guy when it comes to music, so I don't really mind the fact that rap is here to stay for a while. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with another few years of dominant rap, you know. I like where it is now. I kind of like, I like where I feel like the aesthetic is going. It just seems to be kind of getting way dark, which I like. Which decade had the best music? There's no answer to that question, man. Every decade had the best music. How about that? When are you going to get another grill friend so you can stop third wheeling Scotty and Taylor? Dude, I wasn't going to third wheel Scotty and Taylor, but TJ fucking backed out. Like, TJ was the dude that got me into King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and they're coming to town in a venue that's real easy for us to get to. The tickets were cheap, and TJ was like, nah, I don't want to do that. So that's why I'm third wheeling. And maybe I'll meet a fucking cute dude or chick or whatever, trans individual, asexual, agendered demi boy at the King Gizzard concert. You never know. I mean, is that bad? Is it bad for a single dude to go to a fucking concert? I think not. He's the dude that, like, out of the three of us, I guarantee you he knows the most King Gizzard songs. Like, he's way more into them than any of us that are going. We just wanted to go because we liked the band. And the venue was small and kind of intimate, and the tickets were cheap. Date an otherkin dog? Do you know one? Can you introduce me to an otherkin? Single people don't go out enough. That's the problem. Oh, okay. I've always had a thing for early 80s music. Okay. Are you more sweet or savory in your food? I like savory food more than sweet. I'm not a big sweet guy. Wrap it up, Paul. This stream is running on. Dude, Carmelo, then why don't you take it out? Dude, Carmelo, you've been around a long-ass fucking time. I don't want to have to slap you with the fucking band hammer, but I'm about to. Oh, goddamn, somebody already did. Well, Carmelo was being stupid. He's seen, like, Carmelo has been here forever. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that telling me what to do gets him fucking banned. No, he's gone, dude. Somebody nuked him. I'm glad. Dude, even a long-term person has got to fucking learn. Yeah, I got some quick ass mods, dude. Yeah, none of you are free of sin. None of you escape the eye of Sauron. It sees all. You're gonna lose everyone except your mods, dude. I've been banning this way since the inception of the show. Why hasn't that happened yet, bro Seffi? I've literally modded this chat exactly the same way since I started doing ideology and before, back when it was just ideas. I've literally done, like, whole segments of this show have been dedicated to me just banning stupid, autistic, fucking time-wasting retards like you out of the chat. Like, what do you... Why hasn't it happened yet? Why are you still like one or two dudes that can't get it through your skull and the rest of the people just kind of chilling and being cool? Fart. I need to get that drop. I need to go get the fart drop. I think I talked about doing it one day. Maybe I even did it, but I never put it on here. Tsunami. Paul gets in his banning mods. It's hilarious. Nah, dude. Like, Finn, there've been dudes in here saying that I'm fucking ignoring you all night. So if you want me to fucking talk to you about it here at Heidi, if this is where you want to hear it, then I'll take care of it. Like, I'll put it the fuck out there, dude. You're not gonna hear it from me on fucking Discord. That is a cancerous place, and I don't fucking go. No, I'm not even talking about you. I'm talking about Duke being in here earlier saying, why are you ignoring Finn? Dude, you want me to blow it up right here, dude? It's late enough, and the shit is slow enough. I'll put it all fucking out there, dude. I don't give a fuck. Discord drama. I guess so. Dude, I'm literally the last person in the fucking world that even wants to engage in that shit, dude. The last fucking person in the world. I'm not going to dignify it with a rundown of the drama because, quite frankly, I don't even know it. I'm a central figure in it, or at least my name was brought up in it as far as I could see a bunch of fucking times, but I had nothing to do with it. I literally did nothing, and I still have done nothing. I couldn't even share the story with you guys because, quite frankly, I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't give a fuck. Finn, don't be fucking stupid and obtuse, dude. You think I'm a retard? You knew nothing about what happened. You had no fucking clue what happened, dude. You had nothing to do with it. Didn't participate at all. Don't be fucking stupid, dude. I'm not stupid. Paul is like the hot high school boy who all the girls cause drama over. Yeah, dude, that's so true. Quit being broads. Quit acting like dames. Someone say what happened. It ain't gonna be me. You can go find out if you want. Go skulking around the fucking dungeon of virginity that is Discord, dude. That place is a cancerous fucking butthole. So if you want to know, go skulking around that dungeon if you really got to know. I guarantee you the tea that you find is not only going to be horrifyingly inaccurate, it's going to be way less than what you thought it was. There are a small cadre of people who know life hard enough to really give a fuck about Discord drama. So, if that's what you want, go to Discord. Go to Discord. Banning is right. Banning is fun. You were right, Paul. I told you, dude. Thank you, Blue Noble, for being a great Spectre. I sat and watched. Cool. Whatever, dude. So yeah, that's basically it, Finn. I'm not gonna be if that's a question that came from you. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was just a bunch of other people trying to get me to answer that. I was ignoring the Finn bullshit and just trying to go forward like a normal fucking show. But that's the reason why you and I aren't going to talk anymore, is because Discord is a cancerous fucking shithole, and that's where you live. That's your home base. That's where you occupy. You chill with people who, you know, fuck with assets of my business and legit steal from my business. You know, I'm not the type of guy that gets super fucking salty all the time about people stealing, because I understand. Like, I've pirated shit before. But I really expect a fan of the fucking show to at least have the acumen to not stand by and chill with a group of fucking people that hang out with somebody that steals from me. And a group of people that not only steal from me, but steal from me and my friends and my business with, like, glee. It's like what gets them off is like, I'm going to steal this small fucking, you know, self-started podcasts material and put it up all over the place because I got a little vendetta boner because Paul banned me or whatever it is. That's what you chill with, dude. I'm not going to chill with you. You're, you know, fucking perfectly free to come to meetups and be a fan and shit. But that's where it is, dude. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to have, like... And see, here's the thing. To bring people up on this, Finn and I, we chilled a lot, dude. I probably would have considered Finn an internet friend of mine. But, you know, dude, I don't need that kind of friendship. Like, I don't need that kind of friendship at all, dude. Why would I fucking chill with a dude that literally spends his time with people that fuck with my business, steal from my business, and then tries to act like he had nothing to do with it? Like, sorry, bro. You don't get 3 strikes with me. I'm a 1-strike person. 1 strike and you're out. Sorry, bro. Says a lot of your character who you associate with. Absolutely. In fact, if you want to know what a person's real fucking character is, look at who they associate with. I mean, honestly, that's better than actually trying to scrutinize it from them. That's just the way it is, dude. Like, I'm not going to pussyfoot around it. People wanted an answer. There's your fucking answer. And if you're part of that crew over there and we're wondering the same thing about yourself, there's your fucking answer. Like, it don't take me twice. Somebody fucks me over once, I'm done. It's fine. You had your little whatever it was. I don't even know what to call it, because calling it a coup is ennobling it. You had your little fucking autism fest. Took down a little chunk of the business or whatever. Caused a bunch of time for the people that upkeep that place over there for us and for us. Cool. Hope it was worth, you know, not ever fucking having access to me ever again in a significant way. But whatever. Paul, would you be interested in voice acting? Yes, I would. If somebody offered me a job, you know, paying me a decent amount of money to be in a fucking movie where I voice acted, I'd do it. Mm-hmm. The Pessimist Productions Discord is gone because it was taken down by the group of people I'm talking about. They got some mods that had some power, gave out some roles, nuked the Discord. I literally spent about 5 minutes a week there, so it wasn't a big loss in my life, but it was a pain in the ass because it's part of our business. A lot of work went into maintaining that place, and it was a place that a lot of people enjoyed, so, you know, it sucked for a segment of the fan base. That's literally it. That's what I know. That's the drama. No, Kuhlman had nothing to do with it. I never implicated Kuhlman. Kuhlman's always been a cool cat, and he's always remained neutral in that shit. He's never been a drama queen, but I mean, the rest of that shit is pretty fucking explicit. Those people over there are cancerous. That whole fucking, like, I gotta be honest with you, just setting apart, because this is not the first fucking Discord-tism fest that I've been in the center of. The DP Discord had the exact same problems, the exact same issue of this like Game of Thrones mentality that it seems to foster. That community as a whole, Discord users, people that literally spend their whole fucking day on Discord. Like, you know what I mean? It seems to foster this mentality of like, if I'm a mod, I've got power. And if I'm the step above mod, if I'm like a little mini admin, I've got even more power. And it's just like that's toxic, you know, because everybody's got dirt on everybody else. You have no idea how many retarded DMs that I've read from people on Discord over the fucking whole entirety of my career as a podcasting personality or whatever the fuck I am. This person said this. This person said that. This person was talking shit and I screen capped it, and this person said they were going to ban somebody. And it's just like, holy shit. These people are fucking pathetic. And I knew that back on the DP days, dude. There is just a whole breed of person that their whole fucking life is out there on Discord. And so like, oh man, the more status I've got and all the communities I'm in, the more power I've got, and the more influence I've got, and I'm a little social media monkey. I got followers, I got friends, I'm modding 3 communities. It's just a fucking toxic, homestuck, cancerous, autistic fucking cycle that is just drawn to Discord like maggots and flies to a big shitty fucking thrown away hamburger in a McDonald's dumpster. It's just maggoty with people that fill their fucking lives with fake drama on a fake social media site. They're friends, but they're constantly stabbing each other in the fucking back and fucking each other over. This is a blanket fucking statement. Like I said, the DP Discord was the same fucking shit. Just a fucking absolute worthless, shitty, sociopathic fucking shithole on the internet. Just another one. Just another sewer with a bunch of turds floating in it. A waste of my time, a waste of the energy of my business. It's been a drain. So, Discord is a fucking shithole. Which is worse, Reddit or Discord? I don't really know how to quantify that. They're so different. They're not even really similar. So they're both awful. They're both the worst. They're the worst example of what they are. Shitholes. So Discord people, and look, dude, there are some people that use Discord for little private communities for shit, and I'm sure it's just fine. But if you've got any kind of following and you've got a big ass Discord, I'm sorry, dude. I'll try and not crunch ice into the mic anymore. What's wrong with Reddit? It's a shithole. Stupid. Like, what's wrong with Reddit? It's too democratic. That's the nutshell answer. The upvote, downvote system ruins Reddit because it's open to manipulation and trolling and bullshit. It's not a real reflection of the value of a comment like it's supposed to be. Nobody follows the stupid-ass unenforceable Reddit. So it's just a hive of, like, bots. And once again, people, no-lifers. Like, people with, like, the time to go and create, like, 150 accounts and just spam down votes on shit and spam up votes on shit. And in an attempt to, like, spin the narrative or make things, you know what I mean? It's just a shithole. You can't find a fucking place there that's not a shithole. It's a broken website. Have you I browse 4chan from time to time, but I've never been a contributor or a real heavy user of 4chan. Carmelo's back. Damn, Carmelo. How are you gonna get banned, Carmelo? And you missed some shit too while you were gone. Enforcing internet etiquette is a joke. No, it really isn't. I mean, if you want an example of that happening, look no further than this community. Now, it may not be a giant community, but there's definitely an unspoken rule of etiquette for participating in a ideology, and it's pretty strictly enforced. There are people here that are empowered to do it. I've never once lost control of a ideology to the point where, like, there was nothing fucking going on that I could use. And if I did, I flushed it down the toilet. There's enforcement here, you know what I mean? No, it's fine. You can be back. I'm fine with it. You got the slap on the wrist, you know what I mean? Paul, why don't you make your own forum? I might. It's something that we're definitely going to integrate into the Pessimist Productions website at some point. I'm going to have a whole forum for patrons, maybe even a public forum for non-patrons to join. Probably an old V-Bulletin style forum, so if you've never used that, you'll have to learn how. But that, to me, was the pinnacle of the internet community. Super easy to moderate, super easy to, keep the fucking trolling and bullshit to a minimum and allow really genuine, honest, good discussion, good memes. Like, this idea that it's stupid or impossible to enforce rules of etiquette on the internet is just retarded. That's something that, like, a kid sitting at home fucking popping his daily Adderall thinks, about to head to the fucking 8th grade. And his plan for the day is to spit balls at the girl he thinks is cute in the cafeteria and hope she notices him. Like, that's what a kid like that, you can't. No, you can't. No, don't confuse us with you. You can't have a fucking, you can't have etiquette on the internet. You can't enforce a set of baseline rules on the internet, man. Maybe you can't. There's no room for good discussion on Discord. Every time I go on, it's just anime girls and arguing. Well, that's how I felt about the Pessimist Productions Discord. The people that there was a user base there, and it was significant, but mostly it was about 20 or 25 people from what I could tell. And I'd say about 20 of those 25 people did mostly nothing but post anime memes and stupid bullshit, talk about anime. I don't got a problem with anime, but it wasn't, it wasn't a place that was being used for a lot of genuine discussion. So the loss of it was not that, not that heavy in terms of, like, a space for people to get things genuinely done. But most anime is garbage, but there are some really good ones out there. Yeah. That's okay. That's the last time we're going to ever hear that sentiment here, I'm sure. I know we've never touched on that before. All right. Well, This has been a long one. I'm going to call it a night. Thank you guys, I guess, for chilling, hanging out with me. That's a very dark salute, but have a good night. My voice is fucked. I'm done. I'll talk to you later. Bye.